Okay, hello. Welcome everyone to the webinar on waste and wildlife management in College Tun Fuad in University Malaysia Sabah. My name is Angelica Guilan. I am a PLK student, which is Pendidikan Luar Jarak in UiTM. I'm studying bachelor's in legal studies. So as a part of my program, I am to do this webinar as a part of a subject I'm taking in my university. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this webinar. I'm very thankful that you took a time out of your busy schedule and participating in this. All right. Okay, let's begin. So this is the structure of the webinar. I'm going to talk to you about the program itself of this subject, the interview, whereby I'm going to interview on several questions regarding the issues that you have in your college that affects the environment. And also I'm going to explain to you what is environmental law. And I'm going to brief you on what are your rights as a resident in College Tun Fuad regarding those environmental issues that you mentioned. Okay, okay, can you see what I'm listing here? Is it clear for you?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So SULAM, or what we call Service Learning Malaysia University for Society, it's not social service. So SULAM is basically an innovative teaching and learning strategy or pedagogy known in the educational field that integrates meaningful, structured, and graded community service. I think this is something similar to you doing posting. So I'm come to the awareness that you guys are doing posting period this semester right now for 5 weeks, right? So SULAM is something like that, but SULAM is not 5 weeks. It's usually just a few days of program, could be one day, it could be anything. But what we do in SULAM is very similar what you do during your posting, whereby you apply what you studied in your nursing course and then you apply it here. So they similarly like your posting, it has specific learning outcome, reflection, and student empowerment to deepen learning experience, develop civic responsibility, as well as transform community through activities that university students perform in the real world. So as mentioned, it's very similar to your posting duties. So SULAM is just, it's not something, I wouldn't say it's a requirement of that particular degree, but it is something that's integrated in various subjects. It could be many subjects. For example, in this context is environmental law. So they use SULAM as a part of their program structure. Okay, so the reason we want to take serious account of environmental law is because, as the saying goes, the earth is what we all have in common. So earth is where we all live. We should definitely take very good care of it. But unfortunately, there are many people out there that don't realize how important it is to take care of the environment. They, I would say selfish, but if not really selfish, more about not enough knowledge on how to take care of the earth a little bit better. But before we begin, I would like to ask you a few questions about yourself, and maybe you can let me know a little bit about the issues that you're facing in your residential college. So can by looking at your name, I'm just gonna call one on you one by one, then maybe you can introduce yourself, okay? So let's start with Grace. So Grace, sorry, yes, introduce yourself, your course, your residential college, and the duration of your residence.
Okay. So my name is Grace Galia, and the course I'm taking right now is nursing. And I currently live in College Kediaman Tunfuat in UMS Sabah, and I will live here for around 3 years. Yes.
How long have you stayed in that college for now?
Just 4 months, I think. Yeah, around that
4
time.
months. Okay, thank you so much, Grace. Can I please have Andrika next?
Hello, my name is Andrika Adrian, and wait.
Yes,
And I take nursing course, and I live in College Kediaman Tunfuat for 3 months already.
Okay, that's pretty short as well. Next, can I please have Alia?
Hi, my name is Nur Alia Natasha binti Mahmud. I am currently taking diploma in nursing course in UMS and also staying in College Kediaman Tun Fuad. I have been here for almost 3 months already.
Okay, thank you, Aliyah. Can I please have Ray next?
Hello, I'm Ray. I'm currently taking a nursing course in UMS, and currently I'm also staying in College Kediaman Fuad, and I have been here for like 3 months already.
All right, thank you, Ray. Can I have Nafisha next?
Hi, my name is Serna Vishayan binti Jari, and I also live in College Kediaman Fuad. I'm taking diploma in nursing. I've been here since the end of October of last year. Yeah.
Okay, so also about 3 months. Okay, lastly, can I please have Ashikin?
Hello, my name is Nurashikin Farhana. I am also a diploma. I took diploma in nursing, and I am also staying in College Kediaman Tunfuat for almost 3 months as well.
Okay, okay. So it seems to me that all of you are quite new in your college. So are you guys in the same course in the same semester as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So because the topic today, the subject that this is about is environmental law. Are you guys very well known with what environmental law is about?
Only on the surface level kind of knowledge.
Okay, Shikin, can you care to explain?
What I know is just it's about how to protect the environment and what kind of things the law can do to preserve these environmental things.
Okay, so Grace, when you hear the word environmental law, what kind of thing I would say does environmental law protect? Does it protect only, let's say, the flora and fauna?
Um, for me, is it's part of that, but still everything that goes inside the environment. Environment, for example, the air, the water, and the flora and fauna. Yes, I think that's it. But I think there's more to that.
Okay, you're right. So environmental law does not only concern flora and fauna, it concerns everything about the earth, from the noise, from the air, from the soil, even with yourself and also wild animals. And environmental law covers all of that, but it's not as extensive as we want it to be. So, Ray, do you think that environmental law is important?
Yeah, it
Why?
is.
Why do you think it's important?
It is to protect the environment and avoiding things like pollution and um, like overhunting to
Mm.
happen, because without environmental law, the government cannot like punish those who has treated the environment so poorly, and things like pollution or contamination will or can occur.
You're very good. Yes, you're right. Environmental law is to protect all of this environment and its components. Without the law, people can do whatever they want without consequences. The reason why law exists is that to control and to also ensure the harmony of the environment between it and us. Nafisha, what about you? If you think environmental law does not exist, what do you think will happen?
For me, I think like if the law is not fulfilled, like we cannot experience a comfortable life. Like, yeah, like that.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, so I heard that so everywhere has environmental issues everywhere, and it's something that's beyond our control, or sometimes it's within our control. So I'm very curious about whether or not do you have any environmental issues around your residential college. Can I have Alia answer for this one?
Okay. Currently, we have a environmental issue that like monkeys. Okay, the monkeys and uh,
Okay, so monkeys is a very big issue. Andrika, what does she mean by like the issues of monkeys in your college?
Okay, I have an experience with monkey. Okay, I don't know when, I forgot already. I have leftover food that I don't want to eat because I'm too full. And then I saw a monkey in our front door there. I give it. I give the monkey my food, and then suddenly the monkey want to chase me, so I run quickly. So it's very terrifying. And then there's also monkey almost come into my room, so it's very shocking. Okay.
I understand, like monkeys, like who want monkeys near you? Ray, what about you? Does that happen also in the boys' college or is just the girls?
It occur quite often here.
Often?
Uh,
Okay. So, Shikin, can you tell me if the monkeys were to come and attack you guys, what do you guys do?
Most of the time, our first self-defense would be screaming for help. Yeah,
Okay, is
we
that
can't do much
effective?
about it. Obviously not, but it scares them quite a bit to ensure that we can close any openings from the outside, like windows and doors.
Oh wow, thank God my house has this pagar to protect me from any monkeys. Okay, is the monkeys are the only issues that happen in your residential college? Andrika? Only the monkeys?
No, there is also issues like trash.
Mm.
Yes.
Grace, can you elaborate a little bit on that? What does she mean by trash
Ah,
issue? Yeah.
uh, about this trash issue in our college right now is our trash is barely picked up by the cleaner and the staff here. They usually like betimbun around the trash can,
Mm.
and obviously it would attract the monkeys, and you will
Mm.
eventually a lot of monkeys will come to the college and will crash into our dorms and also take foods from our dorms and make a mess around the trash cans, and also makes the smells and the smell is quite strong sometimes when the monkey starts to like
Mm.
what like
Okay,
they just throw the trash around, and
I
the
see.
smells is very very strong, and it kind of affects our daily life also. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a chain reaction. So it's bad enough that the monkeys
Yeah.
are there. Now you have an attracting thing that attracts the monkeys. So it's like one thing after the other. Okay, that
Yes.
sounds really
Yes,
bad.
yes.
How do you guys fix this problem? Nafisha, if you see monkeys in the trash can and things like that, do you do anything to fix that?
We have like a group to complain
Mm,
these stuffs,
mm,
and like the what keselamatan
mm,
will come and like help us kasi lari-lari those
Does that help
animals. Yeah. Uh yes, they work.
for a little bit?
Yeah, but
Mm,
like we cannot really stop the monkeys from coming in just to
oh,
like, yeah,
oh, I see.
halau dorang.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, you guys. Are these the
Unless it's like, yeah,
unless it's what? Sorry.
unless it's like macam contoh snakes, biawaks, they will like tangkap and then yeah.
Oh wow, you guys have like an entire zoo in UMS. Is there a zoo course in UMS ka? Like
Unfortunately, no,
zoology, right? Oh, you don't have zoology in UMS? Such a
I don't
wasted
think so.
such a wasted opportunity. Okay. Okay, Alia, why do you think the management of the problems that your friends listed just now, the monkeys and the trash, should be improved? If you think improvement should happen, why should they happen?
I think that should be happen because with that, people will be more comfortable and not feel anxious all the time. because at here usually when we open the window, we will feel anxious. Whenever the monkey will come or like that, we feel anxious all the time. We feel not secure to ourselves. Like when we sleep, we like monkeys want to come like that. We feel not safe lah.
Do you guys open your windows at night?
At night, usually not.
Tapi
Sometimes yes.
tak panas kah? Like humid kan? Like how do you say humid in Malay again? Like I don't know what's the word for it. Bahang.
Lembab.
No, not lembab. Dia macam, you know, there's a word for it. Tidak rasa panas kah if you guys close the window?
Panas.
Panas.
But then,
What to do?
Yeah.
The monkey come later.
I see. Okay. Ray, have you thought about improving the problems like the monkeys and the tong sampah issue? Have you thought about improving the problems, like you personally?
The only thing I have been thinking for a while is catching the monkeys and transferring the most of them to another location or habitat.
Wow, where do you want to put them?
In the zoo maybe, or another
Agak.
habitat, hutan simpan or something.
Kalau tidak tikam dalam ocean kan?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me your input. I think I kind of gauge the issues here, which is you guys have monkey problems and trash, but then even without the monkeys, the trash is a problem, but the trash happening and the monkeys also the problem. It's just a reoccurring problem, and I'm pretty sure, even though as first year resident, you already experienced the torturous life of living in campus right now, because even as first year, in fact, all of you have been living for only 3 months and you're already feeling all of this. Have you discussed this issue with your seniors? Did they say anything about this, Shikin?
Unfortunately, our seniors face the same problems, and they also are helpless against these animals that's invading them.
So it's a matter of macam an ongoing problem, but with no solution.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
It's more like the solution isn't there yet, like as a permanent solution. It's more like temporary solution, temporary relief for us.
Okay, I'm very sorry to hear that. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you, all of you, what is environmental law a little bit, and I'm going to tell you the laws that governing it, and maybe there are some things you can do to help the problem with your UMS. Disclaimer, don't put my name in it. Okay, let's start. Okay, so what is environmental law? So environmental law is actually a very broad concept that refers to all elements of the law that protects the environment. Like something like Ray mentioned just now, something that Grace mentioned now, it affects the air, the noise, the soil and everything. It's not just flora and fauna, it's everything that the earth has. So Malaysia's environmental, our law, the undang-undang that governs environment is Environmental Quality Act 1974. So this act actually started pretty late, 1974. So I feel like that's the environment issue that exists in Malaysia exists way before that. So anyway, this act was created in line with Malaysia's commitment to the International Conference on Human Environment Declaration in June 1972 in Stockholm, organized by the United Nations. There are other laws that we have other than the, we call this short form EQA. We also have EQO, which is 19, these are the laws. So I'm just gonna read them one by one. Environmental Quality Order, the Protection of Wildlife Act, the National Forestry, the Fisheries Act, the National Park, the International Environmental Laws. You think with all of these laws, it's enough, but no. In addition to that, there is also Civil Law Act, the Principle of English Law, the Federal Law, the Sharia Law, the Adat Temenggung, and some other environmental obligations. So we have a lot of acts or acta that protects our environment. It's not just one, there are multiple. In fact, there are even the federal law, which also protect environment. So environmental law is the highest law in our country. So it's the top one. And then you have young branches, then you have Sharia, or maybe you have the English law, then you have civil law. But the toppest and most important law we have is the Federal Act. So we have plenty of laws that protect our environment. So I'm going to give you your rights, okay? So I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the water pollution that has been happening in Selangor. Have you guys heard of that? Like balik-balik dengar, there's always like water cuttage in Selangor, right? I mean, you think that we're very, very developed here, but we always have water cuttage here in Selangor. So what can you do as a citizen, for example, like myself? What can I do? Sorry. What can I do to make sure that my right to clean water is being protected? Okay, so this is an example. So what I can do is I can sue the relevant local authorities such as the Lembaga Urus Air Selangor if I can prove that there has been a abuse of power or willful failure to act against the culprit if it happened more than once. So what this means is that I can sue them, but I can sue whoever is in charge. For example, Air Selangor, that is the organization that manages clean water in entire of state of Selangor. So I can sue them among others lah. This pun I can sue, but I can also sue Air Selangor for their failure to act. So when you sue someone, you have to have what law did they break. So which is why the law mentioned here just now is important, because you cannot just say somebody is not doing their job. You have to prove where do they not do their job, where is their job description. So everybody's job description exists in this law. Similarly to you as nursing student, I'm pretty sure you have your undang-undang kan. Shikin, is that true? Does nursing student or any medical profession, do you have law that you need to obey?
Yes, we do have lots of laws for nursing as well. Like before we start our nursing, we have to be a registered nurse. We must become a registered nurse, or else we'll get sued if by touching patients without license.
Okay, so there are laws everywhere. So the law is very important for you to take action against people who are not doing their job or who are actually rightfully and willfully breaking the law. So for example, okay, so in Selangor, I can use this act I can use this section 121 of the Water Service Act 2006, which provide penalty for contamination of water supplies. So based on this part of the act, they can either be fined 500,000 or 10 years in jail or whipping or all three. Or I can refer to section 277 of the Penal Code, which makes it a criminal offense for a person who corrupts or foul a water source, render that the water source unfit for use, provide a jail term for 3 months, or 1,000 fine, or both. There's also another act, this Local Government Act 1976, which allows the local authority to take action for pollution of stream or rivers, including demanding that the offender clean up the pollution at its own cost. So you can see that there are multiple laws that you can use to sue somebody for environmental issue. So talking about your problem just now, can you see my slide? The next slide. Okay,
Yes.
so this is waste management in UMS. So just to let you guys know, the issue of this waste management has been around Malaysia for, if not since before the creation of Malaysia itself. So Malaysia is on its track to miss its 2020 target to divert 40% waste for landfill and increase recyclable rates to 22%. So what this means is that back in 2020, Malaysia has created an agreement that it will divert 40% of the waste from landfill and increase the recycling rate to 22%. However, none of that happened. In fact, almost 90% of the waste were disposed to sanitary landfill, makin bertambah, while only 10%, 10.5% were recycled. These targets were set out for back in August lagi. It existed like 15 years ago in Malaysia National Strategic Plan, NSP, for solid waste management. So what they do instead is that the local authorities in Malaysia who are responsible for this management of solid waste are outsourcing the collection and disposal of solid waste to private companies. These private companies, they collect and dispose of municipal solid waste, often illegally collect commercial industrial waste alongside with this municipal solid waste in order to increase their load or trips to landfill to claim more money from authorities. So what this means is that our government actually pays someone to take out our trash and bring it somewhere else. So we actually have landfills. There's one in Sabah also, out in the ocean. You guys would never have heard of it. It's out in the ocean. So Malaysia actually hire private companies to take the trash, and throw it somewhere else. What they do with it, they don't care. Just get rid of it. So the local authorities that we have, the Malaysia government, they hire private companies from the outside to do this. So how they compensate for you taking out their trash is they pay you. But some of these private companies, they don't even filter out this trash properly. They just take saja. They just take. So every time dorang pergi masuk, there's a fee that our government pay them. So can you imagine, not only do they not process the rubbish properly, they don't care about recycling, they don't care about whether or not this is toxic or not, they just take it. No matter how many times they get to claim for that. And that's not fair for us, because where does that trash go then? How do you then ensure that they practice responsible waste management? They don't. Because like I said, these are private companies that you have no authority to mengacau private companies how they do their work. So however they want to do it, kita tak sentuh, because as long as at least in our government, as long as you get rid of it, kira bagus already, and that's wrong. So we have many, so as mentioned just now, we have a lot of cooperation and laws that helps us with this. Okay, so the JPSPN, or the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Corporation, are one of the corporation that helps with the waste management in Malaysia. We also have Ministry of Housing and Local Government. So this is orang yang in charge of area perumahan satu Malaysia. And we also have the Act, the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Act. This is the undang-undang that we have. So we have two government bodies, the JPSPN, and we have the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. These are the people that uses this law, among many other laws, to help to govern the waste management in Malaysia. However, you'd be surprised, solid waste management in Malaysia is not fully under authority of the federal government. What this means is that, so federal government means satu Malaysia, all 13 states. But the thing is, not all states take seriously into this act and also this waste management. So for example, Perlis, Kedah, Pahang, Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Johor, and two federal governments, which is Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, already accepted and complied with this act. However, Penang, Selangor, Perak, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, Sarawak, and Labuan are not under the administration or enforcement. So meaning, if Sabah were to not participate in this waste management law, memang tiada lah. So however Sabah want to carry out their rubbish is up to them lah. So which is why things like water pollution, things like actual pollution, landfills in Sabah, sometimes people cannot sue you because there's no law to administer you. However your government want to do it, it's really up to them. And because you're not in compliance with this act, there's nothing much to be done, which is why full cooperation is very much needed in this. So you as the citizen of Sabah, or maybe residents of UMS, you can take actions, and I will let you know on the kind of rules that we have to implement. So if you see here, this is I would say a screenshot of the punishment that can happen that you can take action against. So if you look at this, these are just examples. Okay, so these are provision maksud their section, and these are the fine that they do. Okay, give you an example. Recovery of controlled solid waste charges, fees or levy. So failure or refusal to pay charge is less than 5,000 or and tambah 50 ringgit for each subsequent day. Or this one perhaps can be applied to you, whereby there are prohibition against unauthorized disposing, treatment, etc. of controlled solid waste. You can kena denda 10 to 100,000 or imprisonment to 6 to 5 years. Or if there is unauthorized escape of any controlled solid waste, there's 10 to 100,000 and or imprisonment less than 5 years. So bear in mind, this law can only apply if you are participating in the administration that mentioned just now. If you don't, so meaning to say, kalau for example Selangor want to dump their rubbish into Sabah, I guess they kind of can, because you guys have no laws to support you, but Selangor has. So you see what I mean? Because you didn't participate, you really have no standing to sue them back. But just to let you know that these are the fines that we kenakan towards the offenders. So there are reduction, reuse, and recycle for controlled solid waste, less than 10,000 and or 6 months, take back system or deposit refund system, and all things like that. So this is about your waste management. Now we move on to your monkey issues. So this is the notes that I found out about the issues in Malaysia. So our federal constitution provide the protection of wild animals and wild birds under the concurrent list. So in the federal law, just now I mentioned the highest law in Malaysia, they also have a list inside that federal law that state that um, that protects the protection of wildlife and wild birds. This means that for both the federal and state government may enact laws to protect wildlife. So what this means is that Malaysia and also the states in Malaysia can both protect laws. Because why I need to make this distinction is that misal kata if Sabah were to make a law about wildlife, if the federal government cakap tak boleh, tak boleh. Because remember, federal law is the highest law in Malaysia, meaning dia macam Tuhan. If dia kata tidak boleh, this no matter how you want to argue it, it's still no. But now, because the federal is already in agreement to have laws that protect the wildlife, so you guys can actually work together. So we do have an act out of this, which is the Wildlife Conservation Act 2010. Once again, it's very, very new, just to show you how environmental law is not taken seriously in Malaysia only up until recently. So it's very, very new. 2010, it's been like what, 12 years? Oh, no, 2 years. Wait, 12 years lah. Betul. Okay. Unfortunately, there has been no law to solve the wildlife issue in campuses. So I remember you guys mentioned about campuses, right? So I actually did some research. There are no laws to solve the issue in wildlife in campuses. So for example, in UKM, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, the professor in UKM, who is also the professor of the School of Environmental and Natural Resources Sciences, says that if enough people refrain from feeding macaws, a type of monkey, where they congregate, the snake association eventually fades and they harass humans less. Another way, he also said that focusing efforts on educating humans about interacting with monkeys is the most realistic way of reducing conflict between the species. So basically, the issue of monkeys have existed for years. There's one in where I'm studying, UITM, where I'm also studying, UKM, and now UMS. These four are among many other campuses in Malaysia that face issues about monkeys. But the thing is, there has not been any law to help you about that. Basically, whatever discussion that they have, they basically say the humans are the one that have to control their behavior, because by right, they are encroaching their habitat. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that your campus is built within forests, right? So meaning you are the one that's encroaching their habitat. So by that definition, by that organic process, you are the one that's in their habitat. So basically, you are the monkeys in this context. But because these monkeys have no place to go, they started to come into your situation. There are no laws to help you with this. Like Ray mentioned, right? He mentioned that maybe he want to tangkap all these monkeys, letak dalam zoo ka, pelihitan ka, perhutanan and whatnot, right? It cannot be enforced because apparently there are people who fight against that as well. So basically, the only solution that you guys have is to just become better humans, which is to treat the monkeys as you treat yourself, with so many compassion, treat them nicely. That's the only solution that you have. So the Forest Research Institute Malaysia, or FRIM, and Department of Wildlife and National Parks, Pehilitan, Peninsula Malaysia, and Taman Esan. So these are an example, okay? So these three parties, they actually had a discussion back in 2018, masih baru, about the issues of monkeys and residents nearby the housing area in Selangor. So someone like you guys, they also have conflicts with the monkeys and the residents. However, there's no law, there's no improvement, there's no organization, there's no anything to improve the situation. Basically, what came out of that discussion is that they want to continue to raise awareness among the visitors to discourage feeding of wild animals. Balik-balik, they just said that it's you as the human, you just have to improve your behavior among monkeys. That's it. So Pehilitan, to deal with the complaints, setting up traps. The nearby residents should also give their cooperation in ensuring they reduce the factor that attracts these animals, such as ensuring that proper waste disposal, among others. So basically, balik-balik, it comes down to you guys having good behavior. So unfortunately, how you can sue your university about these monkeys, there's no law to even help you. So, I mean, sure, you can sue them, but there's no law to support your argument, your intention to sue. So I guess the monkeys is going to stay sampai you guys graduate lah. Cek the monkeys pun sudah graduate kan dia. Okay. All right. Okay, so I want to highlight you on how you can sue. So regarding the waste just now, you have a waste issue just now. So here's what you can do to sue your to sue whoever authority that is within your power right now. So you first of all you have to determine whether or not your issue is civil or criminal. Does anyone of you know the difference between civil and criminal law? Yes, no. Okay, so civil is the crime against a person. Criminal is the crime against the country or the government, I would say. Okay, Shikin, when I say criminal against, if I say the crime against a person, what kind of crime do you think that means? Like what kind of crime that I committed if it's towards one person?
I probably punched them, maybe.
Okay, that's a good one. That's one. Okay, criminal. Maybe Ray can help me with this one. What does he mean by criminal? Criminal, yeah.
Um,
Think paling senang
maybe the
lah.
one that like robbing.
That one is still under civil because it affects one person. You have to think of a crime that affects.
Robbing a
it.
bank.
Okay, very
Is it-
good. Yes, robbing a bank. Very good. So remember, civil is a crime against one or a private entity, meaning it doesn't affect the entire larger group. Criminal is against the country. Okay. So once you decided whether your act is against civil or criminal, it's up to you, however you want to argue it. For example, pasal isu monyet tu, maybe you can talk about it under civil. Pasal pollution, about your rubbish and things like that, you can make it under criminal because it affects the entirety of Malaysia, if not the entire state. So you can choose either one. So after that, after you decided which law it falls under, you can talk about the commencing proceeding. So there are two types, writ of summons and originating summons. Okay, there's a difference here. So the rule that governs this, basically every action you take, there must be a rule to support it. This is how law works. Whereby, misal kata, if you wanna, let's say, from moving from a nurse to become a doctor, for example, you must have law to support whether or not you can do that. Or for example, if a doctor wants to become a nurse again, there must be a law to support that. So whatever action you take, there must be a law to support you. So this is the law, Rules of Court 2012, is the one that helps with this, the process of suing. Okay, so writ of summon. So based on this rule, it says that any proceeding that has a substantial, any proceeding that has, any proceeding that has a substantial dispute of fact is likely to arise shall begin with a writ. So what does it mean by substantial dispute of fact? This is what it means whereby both parties in court have a conflicting accounts of what happened. So for example, if you want to sue your university about the monkeys, but they disagree, you disagree, they disagree, you disagree, it becomes writ of summon, meaning it's about the issue of whether or not it happened. Whether it happened or not, you tidak pasti, you take this one. So another one is originating summon. So originating summon is where there is any written law yang salah. So for example, this talks about cases where the dispute is a point of law. For example, contract cases that have no arguments of fact, setting aside an order for sale of land, recovering land from squatters, must be starting for originating summon. Maksud dia, people buta-buta already melanggar undang-undang. For example, if you sue someone for buang sampah sesuka hati and there is a law yang like very clear as day, ada papan notice cakap you cannot buang sampah sini, and that person still buang sampah sini, that one you can sue under originating summons. Sebab it's about this person blatantly breaking the law. There's no dispute of fact. Memang he break the law and you saw it. So you can start with originating summons. All right, I guess that's it regarding my issues with you today. Do any of you have any questions? Okay, what do you guys think of this webinars so far? Grace?
Um, I was kind of shocked that Saba actually is not part of the big one, I
Hmm.
think.
Oh, you mean,
And there's no
sorry.
I mean there's no laws to like support our issues right now. And I didn't know about that actually. And when I hear this webinar, I think it has opened my mind a bit.
Okay, I'm glad you learned something new today, Grace. What about you, Enrica?
Yes.
I think I also agree with Grace. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Enrica. Shikin, what about you? When you heard that there are barely any laws, at the same time, there are ways that you can do to take action. What do you feel about knowing that already?
I feel at first I feel like Grace shock, and like it makes me think, so is there really nothing we can do to, like, I don't know, who can we sue here? But I guess we can do something about it because there are laws as well, like just because there's no federal law under Sabah, but we can still do something about it. So
Okay, all right, I agree with that. Ray, what about you? What are your thoughts after learning about all of this?
Some of them. Actually, I find it quite interesting.
So, what do you think
So
about your monkeys now?
okay, but the monkeys, I think we have to tolerate on that.
Mm,
Like you said, it is our problem, not them, because we are invading their habitat, right? So it's on us like that. So I think I agree with you.
mm.
So yeah.
All right, thanks, Ray. Aliyah, what about you? What are your perception now about environmental law now that you've learned that there are some ways that you can use or perhaps consider to help you with the monkeys and also the trash management issues in your college? What do you feel about it now? What do you think? Sorry.
I think that nothing much we can do, like just something like with the monkeys. We just have to maybe live with them, like stop giving them food, like something, and yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Aliyah. Nafisha, now that you know that there are ways you can do about the waste management issue in your college, what do you think you can do?
I think we can just like learn how to adapt in this situation, and like if things really gets worse, I think we can do something about the suing,
Mm,
like the one you told us about.
oh my God. Now I imagine all of you want to sue people already. I mean, you can. Actually, you can. Just you gotta have your arguments already. That's it. Don't be afraid to sue. By the way, the lot of misconception is that when you kena sue, meaning you macam takut lah. Don't worry about it. Unless you know your law, and I suggest that you do. Just know your law very well. That's how you protect yourself. A lot of people kalau tengok kena sue ni dia cepat cuak. And understandably so lah, because if you don't know your law well enough, people can take advantage of you. Similarly to the issue about your pembuangan sampah ni tadi, like you guys feel very helpless right now, right? There's nothing you can do about the monkeys. There's nothing you can do about the waste. It's like you said, even you ask your senior pun, all they say is that it has been happening here for years already, even before any of you even came in. So this problem has been occurring for many years, and nobody does anything about them. And if ada pun, there's no outcome. At least there's no outcome that is good for you. But I hope that with the session that I've provided for you, you guys are a little bit more aware of the situation right now. You guys are a little bit more knowledgeable about what you can do, what actions you can take. Maybe about the monkeys too. Perhaps there's no issue to that, and that's something that you just have to tolerate. Like Ray said, you just something you have to adapt with. You have to live with, to belajar berdiam bersama dengan monyet, and you know what, fine, right? But maybe there are some ways you can do in your college, perhaps with your college administrator. Maybe they boleh install like pagar in your windows. Maybe they can install like tempat pembuangan sampah khas where monyet has no access to it, or maybe pakai access card kan, mau buang masuk sampah ke apa. I mean, kalau monyet tu ada access card memang saya terkejut lah tu nanti. But yeah, maybe give access card to only students that can buang sampah in a certain area and things like that. And if there are bigger issues, more like waste management, you guys can take action against your university or with your university. Tell them that if they don't do this, these are the laws that you as residents can take action against your university or your college for not obeying the environmental law that has been implemented in the entire country. So for example, if they don't provide good waste management, it's going to pollute the water system that you have, it's going to pollute the environment that you have, it's going to attract more wildlife. So as I mentioned just now, you can definitely take action, and these are the ways that you can let them know that these are how that they can take these things more seriously. Because if they don't take action, it's your life that is at stake here. It's your life that's not being protected here. Okay, I think I've come to the end of my webinar. Thank you so much. Before I leave, do you have any question? None so far. Okay, do you guys like this webinar so far? Is there anything that I could have talked about a little bit more? Is there any feedback on improvement that I could do?
I think you've done really good.
You're just saying that. But thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you guys participating in my webinar, and I hope you guys know what to do after this, not just about the environment, but about anything. If you educate yourself enough, there are ways that you can use to overcome the problems, not just about environment, but even in your own personal life and also your surrounding at most. Okay, that's all for my webinar for today. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you guys next time, and thank you. I'm gonna give you some questionnaire after this. I mean, not immediately after this, but I will give you a questionnaire. Maybe gather some feedbacks, anything that you have thought of, or your opinions and things like that. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for coming into my webinar. Okay. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Angel.
thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Angel.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye. Thank you.